Alright, we learned how to draw a horse today. It's the first thing I learned how to draw, so I'm going to teach it to you guys. Alright, first thing you want to do with anything you draw, break it down into its main shapes. Alright, when you break things down into their main shapes, it gives you a map, a layout of what you're going to draw, and then it's a lot easier to just come up with everything instead of just trying to do whatever it is people do when they don't draw the outline. So right there, you need to keep track of where the joints are, because those are going to be important, because you're going to have to figure out where those are later and draw them in. When you're drawing animals and you break them down their basic shapes, and you get to learn about kind of how those shapes fit together and what they look like, then you can draw your own animals without having to have a photo reference. Alright, here's some other examples. No matter what pose they're in, you can always, there's the joints, you can map out where everything is. You see it's the same basic shapes as before, they're just in different positions. There's a front circle and a back circle. Not quite circle, but you know what I mean. There's all the joints, they're just all in different places. Alright, but it's the same makeup, so once you learn that makeup, you can draw it in whatever pose you want to, because you can figure it out. So let's start drawing this. Basic shapes. I'm gonna get it in the legs, show you where those joints are. There's 3 that you need to pay attention to on each of these horse legs. One of them is less prominent in the back, but they're there. Alright. A lot of people put circles for the joints. That's how I learned how to do it when I started. Nowadays, I just don't see the point. But if that makes you feel more comfortable, you can definitely do that. Pop some ears on there, and there we have our basic shape for a horse. It's basically what the whole thing is. I can tell right now that this head is too big, so I'm going to fix that. So you can get everything kind of into proportion. And then you're just going to trace over this outline that you made and add some flesh to it. Put some meat on the bones of the skeleton that you just drew. And the more you practice, the more you're going to know kind of what these muscles that you're putting onto the skeleton look like. For the first couple times, you're going to have to use a photo reference. Unless you're really familiar with what you're drawing. By this point, I have most of it figured out because I've done it for so much. It's all about practice, guys. Alright. That tailbone. A lot of it is anatomy. You need to learn the anatomy and stuff. That's about how long the tailbone is, and that is the part that the horse can control. So all the hair coming off of that after just works with the laws of physics. When the horse moves its tail, it doesn't actually have control of its whole tail. Just about the whole first foot. Right, erasing stuff, putting more defined details in, refining this a little bit, putting the brow bone, making that eye a little prettier. It's kind of dark and scary. Alright, refining this, putting in those ankle bones. Got those ankle bones right there, just like we have. I totally neglected to erase these front legs. The eraser is your friend, guys. So when you start out, draw softly. Draw softly, lightly. The eraser is your friend. Don't be afraid of it. I feel like people are like, oh, if I can't get it right on the first try, like, I can't draw, I keep messing up. Like, nah, everybody messes up. That's the point. It's part of the process. Just go with it. Alright, let's put some hair in here. I want this hair to be fabulous, so it's not looking very realistic, but it's pretty. Pretend it's bouncing, I guess. Gotta draw the shape of the hair and then put the strands in. Don't try to build the whole bulk of the hair out of lines. It's gonna look like a bird's nest. Alright, tail, and get the shape, then put the strands in. Alright, and here we have our horse, and you could stop here, or you could go in and find more of the details on the horse. So you can kind of study what this looks like. There's a bunch more shapes that you can figure out where they are, so you can put them in later. You see this is going to look insane. Now if you draw in those shapes hard, it's just going to look like some crazy bodybuilding horse, alright? You got to be gentle with it. And shading is your friend. And also, I'm doing this with a pencil, but when you guys color and use colors, it's the same thing, alright? Don't just color something all one dark color, and you gotta blend the colors. You gotta go soft in some places, dark in some other places, just like you would a pencil. It's just a colored pencil. That's why they're colored pencils. And guys, the more detail you put in, the better it's gonna look. Like, that's something I've learned. Like, even if the details are kind of crappy, when you put them all next to each other and you keep adding them, the effort shows. Alright, and the more details you add, the better it's gonna look. Alright, let's go in with these hooves. This is ridiculously sped up. Oh, the noses are usually darker, that's why I did that. Oh, and I'm going for the hair. I'm darkening the hair. See, as you see, there's still some really light parts of the hair. I'm not just coloring the whole thing black. That's what I mean when I say to be careful how you're... I was trying to move the paper. I kept writing on it. Be careful how you're coloring things in. You need there to be some light in there. You're not just coloring it all one solid color. I forgot what I was saying before. Oh well. And there you go. There we have it. Now I'm going to try to make some more of these. Just when you look out at the world, try to study the way things look and the way things are put together. It makes this process a whole lot easier when it comes down to it. That's what I do every time I'm out looking at something. I just break it down in my head. Alright, here's the other one that we saw at the beginning. Just a speed run showing you how you would tackle this one. It's the same method. And you just go through, outline the shapes that you drew. Hooves are scary. It took me a really, really long time to figure out how to do them, and some of them suck. Here I said, the eraser is your friend. It's okay to use the eraser. There you go.